This may look like a bowl of pearls, and this merely a collection of crabs. Yet to artist Ai Weiwei, they represent the idea that there is value not just in the group, but also in each individual, whether in art or life, a notion that is not always welcome in China.
大家知道我的这个原因是因为我做了甚至其他的事情。那么我们说这个其他事情，其实通常对我来说是很自然的，但是对很多人来说，说这是社会的，或者政治的，或者说批评的。
Embedded in the works, whether they are directly political or not, I think are his ideas and his desire to see the world change.
That attitude can now be seen at the Smithsonian's Hirshhorn Museum in Washington, according to Chief Curator Rita Braver. Was this the first major exhibit in the U.S. of Ai Weiwei's work?
Yes, it is indeed.
There are whimsical sculptures made of bicycles and antique chairs that suggest how old ideas can be transformed. And then there is this series of photos showing Ai Weiwei actually dropping a 2,000-year-old Han Dynasty vase.
First of all, he is trying to shock you. He's trying to shake you up.
Yeah, why would you drop that?
By destroying objects, it brings attention to the destruction that's happening in society. It's almost like fighting fire with fire.
55-year-old Ai Weiwei learned to challenge authority early on. His father, a famous revolutionary poet, was accused of criticizing the communist government for not allowing free expression. So in 1957, like many intellectuals, he was sent along with his whole family to the provinces to be re-educated, an exile that lasted 18 years.
不光是我父亲这一代人，他们都是因为自由表达付出了惨重的代价。
But Ai Weiwei's real artistic development began when he came to the U.S. on a fellowship in 1983 and stayed 10 years.
It was through the people he met in New York City, the Allen Ginsbergs, that opened his mind up. And he began, even in those days, to become a kind of street photographer, and that included demonstrations.
He returned to China, where his work in everything from sculpture to architecture was so well respected that he was chosen to help design the signature Bird's Nest Stadium for the 2008 Beijing Olympics. He photographed the construction.
And he's created for this installation here at the Hirshhorn a environmental installation, which you walk through it. So you're standing in it, feeling like you're part of it.
But Ai Weiwei ended up disowning his own work because he felt the government was using the stadium as a symbol of nationalism and authoritarianism.
For years he'd been smarting, and finally it came to a boiling point over the Olympics, the hypocrisy that he saw, the effort to sell the world on a China that doesn't really exist.
New York University Law School professor Jerome Cohen is an expert on China and a longtime friend of Ai Weiwei.
I was surprised at his political activism, and I worried about him. Very dangerous.
He says that what really enraged the Chinese government was that after the 2008 Sichuan earthquake that killed more than 85,000 people, Ai Weiwei began investigating shoddy construction. As shown in this recent documentary, he was beaten by police and had to be hospitalized. Then in 2011, he was imprisoned for 81 days on allegedly trumped-up tax charges.
我在北京机场被带走，戴上了黑头套，秘密地抓到了一个地点，戴着手铐，进行了50多次审讯。
He was finally released after a worldwide outcry.
I cannot say anything.
Is he sort of a perpetual thorn in the side of the Chinese government?
That is an understatement. They've never seen anyone like him. Normally, they just lock somebody up and throw away the key. But they're afraid to do that with Weiwei.
Though our CBS News Beijing bureau was able to speak to Ai Weiwei this past week, he lives under constant surveillance and was not allowed to travel to the U.S. for his show.
我也很习惯，因为这个国家不给说法的情况太多了。你没有办法问他要说法，你问他要说法就已经是犯罪了。
But he sent works that speak for him. A serpent, constructed from small backpacks like those carried by children who died when their poorly built schools collapsed during the quake. An installation made of straightened rods that Ai Weiwei reforged from twisted iron he'd salvaged from the rubble. In a way, this is like a memorial.
It also is a warning that we need to be straight. We need to stand tall and straight against these kinds of things happening in the future.
I want American viewers to see this. There's a Chinese, and he's trying to uphold his beliefs and make some effort to help China to become a better world.
His works are filled with questions. That's what great artwork does. It raises questions. It doesn't necessarily answer them for you. It makes you have to think about things.